DraftKings, episode number 2. The only podcast that gives you all the top-level limited information you could ever need. I'm Shyler, or Shy Guy 768, and with me today is Tyler, and the noble Mirren himself, the creator of the Watchtower, the Mirren Watchtower Facebook page, Jeff Overson. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good. How are you guys? How are you, Shy?
I'm good.
I'm doing pretty well myself. Today we're going to go through the Oath of the Gatewatch set and talk about how good we think the cards in the set are going to be in terms of limited playability. But first, what we're going to do is open a pack of Dragons of Tarkir and talk about what we would really first pick.
Okay.
Let's see what you got here, boys.
Alright, we've got... The first card is Student of Ojutai. It's a 3 generic, 1 white, 2/4. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you gain 2 life.
Okay.
Not bad. Especially with this guy.
And then the second card, Kolaghan Skirmisher. 1 black, 1 generic, 2/2. So he's a bear. With dash, with a dash cost of 1 black, 2 generic. Okay.
Alright.
Still nothing too fancy, but...
Yeah. No. There's a 1 red, 1/1 Kolaghan Stormsinger, haste, and megamorph. And then when it's turned face up, target creature gains haste until the end of the turn.
What's Megamorph cost?
1 red.
Oh, that's not bad, but
No.
I don't think it's not first pick. It's not
No,
a first
that's
pick.
that's
But it's
definitely
definitely
not.
not last pick.
That's
Yeah.
good. It's good. And then there's Center Soul, 1 white, 1 generic. Target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until the end of the turn. Rebound.
Yeah.
Huh.
So you can potentially make something unblockable 2 turns in a row.
I mean, out of all the cards, I
yeah,
think
it's
that's the best one yet. But
It's a combat trick. Okay, and then there is 1 green, 2 generic Aura. Enchant Land. Enchanted Land has tap to add 2 mana of any 1 color to your mana pool.
mana ramp.
Yeah, good
That's all
mana
that-
fixing.
That's
It fixes your mana
yeah.
if you're in multiple colors. And then there is Contradict. 3 generic, 2 blue. Counter target spell, draw a card.
Yeah, I've always loved contradict like those type
Yeah,
of spells.
I feel like it's a little bit overcosted.
Yeah.
4, but
I think it should be 4. It's at 5.
it's at 5 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
The 5 mana counter spells are really, not
I think 4.
at top power level.
Okay, moving on. We have a 4 generic 3/4 artifact creature golem. When ancestral statue enters the battlefield, return a non-land permanent you control to its owner's hand. So maybe something with an enter the battlefield effect, or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's an
You
art.
return.
That's colorless, you
You
said?
pop one of your creatures to your hand, or yeah, it's a 4 mana 3/4.
You know, I would. I think I'd run that
it's
for
okay.
a pick, just because I prefer that style myself.
Yeah. Okay, and then we have a 4 generic, 1 red, Sprinting War Brute. Sprinting War Brute attacks each turn if able. It's a 5/4, and it has dash for 3 generic, 1 red. For the dash, it's good. For the mana cost, 5/4 for 5 is not bad. But attacks each turn if able.
That's the downside.
Yeah,
to
that's
it.
where it kind of goes down.
Yeah. Anything that really attacks every turn is kind of
Anything that has to
worse in a way.
is kind of odd. And then we have Naturalize, a classic card. It's been around forever.
That's
One
my
green,
first pick. Just kidding.
1 green, 1 generic. Shiler's first pick is a sideboard card. Destroy target artifact or enchantment.
For all those watching, I'm just kidding. It's not. I wouldn't pick that first so far.
Okay. Now we have somebody with
packs in.
My favorite mechanic from the set, Exploit. Silumgar Butcher. 4 generic, 1 black. 3/3. When Silumgar Butcher exploits a creature, that is when it enters the battlefield, you can sack a creature, and if you do, it gets this ability. Target creature gets -3/-3 until the end of the turn. This is so far my first pick. It enters, you sack a creature, you destroy a creature.
Yeah.
Okay, Draconic Roar. We're in our uncommons now. 1 red, 1 generic. As an additional cost to cast Draconic Roar, you may reveal a dragon card from your hand. It deals 3 damage to target creature. If you reveal the dragon card as you cast it, it deals 3 damage to that creature's controller.
Yeah, that's my first pick. That's
really
my first
good.
pick for this pack, I think.
It's really good. It's instant speed, I did say that. Okay, our second uncommon.
Very good pick.
3 generic, 1 blue, 2/2 creature wizard. When Youthful Scholar dies, draw 2 cards. So you're paying 4 for 2/2, and then when he goes away, you draw 2. You see, this I think would be ideal to exploit.
Yeah.
Right. Off of that other card.
Yeah, but see, that seems like too much mana to put into something you're just going to
Well,
sacrifice.
it's a 2/2, and then you're drawing 2 cards. Well, you're not just going to sacrifice it. You're obviously...
Yeah, but...
He's going to be a wall, but when
he's gonna enter, and then later on he's gonna get exploited and kill a creature and draw you 2 cards. I don't see any loss of value there at all.
Because he's trading the whole time constantly as long as he's in the field.
Yeah. If he trades with a card, you get 2 cards. That makes them think twice.
That's true.
Because anytime you're
nobody wants to trade with this card.
Yeah, because
nobody wants to trade with it.
Because when you get an extra advantage of having that extra 2 cards, who knows? Maybe you pulled the one thing you need from your deck, and good night. That's victory for you.
That's the pick that I would be hoping to wheel. Okay, and then we have Acid Spewer Dragon. 5 generic, 1 black, 3/3, Flying Death Touch.
I think that's too high for a draft format.
With Megamorph for 7. When Acid Spewer is turned face up, put a 1/1 counter on each other dragon you control.
I don't think he's...
Not for draft.
He's a wheel around type of card, I think.
If the blue creature didn't wheel, I believe I would be taking this. Okay. Now we have Myth Realized. Yeah.
First pick by far.
If you remember, this card was used a ton in Constructed in Standard. I saw a lot of games where you had players in competitions go over 100 life.
Really?
Yeah, in GPs and stuff.
Dang.
Using this and some of the other cards that abuse the morph and the megamorph and the other ability. I forget the one in Fate Reforged.
Manifest.
Yeah. There was cards that abused that, and then there was this.
Yes. Yeah.
It's 1 white. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a lore counter on it. And then you can pay 3 to put a lore counter on it.
Well, you're thinking.
I'm not thinking of
Mastery
that.
of the Unseen.
I am thinking of that.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
Mastery
I'm thinking of the white. It's a white spell.
Yeah,
but I don't.
It's
it
4 mana.
It looks like this.
Whenever something's turned up, you gain 1 life.
Okay, it looks like this. Until the end of the turn, Myth Realized becomes a monk avatar. In addition to its other types, and gains this creature's power and toughness are equal to the number of lore counters on it. Yeah, I was thinking of the other card.
I would probably pick that for a first pick.
Yeah, I mean,
it takes too much to get into, though.
But I mean,
you can. I don't think it's worth first picking.
I personally
it
takes
too much effort to make work.
Yeah.
It's not it's not the best, but it's also from what we're looking at.
It's just a little slow.
Yeah, but I guess it kind of gives you more of the time to build, especially from what we saw in Tarkir when you're running.
Yeah, but in a draft. You really don't want this kind of a card.
Yeah. I think I'd still take the Draconic Roar, just because it's
a burn spell.
Yeah, it's a burn spell.
Burn's always good to go into.
And you're most likely in the set to see or pick dragons. So you're oftentimes going to have,
Yeah, exactly.
a literal burn spell to somebody.
Yeah, I just saw the art and I got excited a little bit. It wasn't that card. Yeah, I thought that was the art. Okay.
All right.
That's it for the pack.
Okay. So we're going to talk about Oath of the Gatewatch, and the whole set has been spoiled at this point.
Yeah, it was spoiled yesterday.
Where do we want to start, guys?
Let's start with the mechanics.
All right. So we got
let's start with Surge.
A few new mechanics. One of the mechanics we have is called Cohort, and
yeah, you have to add them through there.
Yeah.
And anyways, it's where you tap the ally and you tap the card with Cohort and you tap another ally and you get an effect. Like the one on screen, tap this and tap an untapped ally you control, and you draw a card and lose a life, which is awesome.
There's also another one called Spawnbinder Mage, which
something to note
taps
with
creatures.
Something to note with the Malachor Soothsayer, the one that's on screen. There is another ally. There's a black ally vampire in the set that whenever it's tapped, you gain a life, right? So if you tapped this with Cohort and tapped that, you wouldn't lose any life. It's just tap 2 creatures, draw a card.
That's true.
Yeah. There's an ally vampire that gains you a life when it taps.
Huh.
So they're just
they're
family. That's beautiful.
So literally, you just tap 2 creatures, draw a card. Yeah.
There's some synergy built in. So.
Okay, so we have another mechanic called Support.
Yes.
You want to explain support, Tyler?
I need to see the wording to remind me, but when it enters when the creature with support or when the spell with support resolves, right? Say it has support 2, or in this case support 6. Put a 1/1 counter on each of up to 6 other target creatures.
So it's essentially just...
So it wants you to have a bunch of creatures out. Because it's each of up to, meaning you can't put more than 1 counter on each of those creatures.
Okay, sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the reminder
Put
text.
a 1/1 counter on each of up to 6 other target creatures. So it can't be this, so you want other creatures on the battlefield when you're casting something with support.
Do we have any spells that maybe add, like, give a creature support this or whatever, or is it just...
No.
So it doesn't...
No, it's most instances of support in the set are enter the battlefield effects. So, like, when this enters the battlefield, support however much. Or put that other card up, yeah. Yes, this has a mana ability, support 2. So you can pay 6 and put 2 1/1 counters on 2 different creatures.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's...
And then there's a couple spells with support. There's a 1 white, 2 generic, support 2, draw a card. So it gives 2 1/1 counters, draws you a card. Sorcery spell.
That's a...
Yeah.
Well, I guess it lives up to its
name, really...
everyone, and it supports...
supports.
It really does support.
Yeah. That's
our next...
support. We've got
our
Surge.
Yes, it's Surge. If you remember last time I mentioned this card, Crush of Tentacles.
Yes.
This is one of the cards with Surge. It's basically when you cast a spell this turn,
or
when
your
teammate casts a spell this turn, you can pay it its Surge cost, which is this little... here, I'll highlight it.
Yeah.
Let me... Okay. Which is this little text thing right here. That is Surge. For that 5 mana right there, you can...
You may cast a spell for the Surge cost if your teammate has cast a spell previous this turn.
Yes.
And cast is a good word because it doesn't have to have resolved yet. So, like, say you have an instant spell with Surge, right? If you cast another spell, somebody else tries to counter that spell, and then there's a counter spell with Surge, right? And then you can pay the surge cost for the counterspell because you cast a spell this turn. Even though it's on the stack, you can it hasn't resolved yet. You can still surge the spell.
Yeah, and there are also cards that help you with casting spells, such as this card, Expedite,
which is
a 1 mana instant draw card. Target creature gains haste until the end of the turn for just a red.
Which is all value.
Yes.
And we're drawing a card.
For one, it's in red.
Usually in red, when you're drawing cards, you're losing life. I mean, not you're discarding cards. Mm-hmm. Usually in red. In black, you're losing life for drawing. But
and red's always kind of had that feel. I mean,
red's usually discarding cards when you're drawing.
Discarding, or if the with the flow stone, one of the original mechanics, plus X and then minus X, whatever it was, so the creature would boost itself and drain its toughness. So it's nice to just see a nice balanced red card just benefiting.
Yeah, and there's also another thing to note. There are 2 creatures with prowess in the set that are both only 2 mana to cast. Right, there's a uncommon that's a blue, 1 red. You could pull it up if you can. It's 1 blue, 1 red, 1/3 flying haste prowess. That's a lot of stuff. It's a really good spell. Anyways, they put those creatures in there, I believe, like to activate Surge and to help with these. So you're gonna have a lot of fast mana spells when you're in a Surge deck. You know.
The idea is just to cast spells.
It's just to get cast multiple spells on a turn, and then you get the full value out of your Surge.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cards that support it.
Another Surge card, for instance, is this Fall of the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
It's double X in red for an instant. It deals X damage to each of up to 2 target creatures and/or players. You can Surge it for X in a red. So similar to Bonfire. In a way, similar.
Well, if you're correlating Surge with Miracle.
Well, I'm not saying like Miracle.
But yes, it's the same situation. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that is that all the.
And then I love that spell is instant speed.
Yeah.
But Devoid's back obviously. Dissipate's back, but with Devoid. Devoid's finally in white. That's another good thing to note. There's at least 1 card with Devoid in white.
For instance, Eldrazi Displacer?
Yeah, exactly. Look at that.
It's, you got your Devoid and then you tap 2 and a
tap 3, yeah. Exile a creature and return it. So it bounces a creature for 3.
So adventure styles, basically.
Yeah, it bounces something for 3.
And this is a good point to...
That's beautiful. Like,
to put in the fact that they changed the way colorless mana works.
They didn't really change the way the colorless mana works. It's just that now there's waste, right? Waste is just another. It's a 6th basic land type that taps for colorless specifically, right? And you have cards with colorless in their costs and colorless in their abilities. That you have to use colorless to cast them or to activate those abilities, right? You can't use a red to activate this ability, though it's still colorless. You can use a Soul Ring to make that kind of mana, because Soul Ring makes colorless and it still counts for that. But colored mana won't count for this colorless cost. Yeah, that's why I've been saying generic, because we need to start distincting between the two.
Because colorless is now a 6th.
Yeah, colorless is
on the wheels.
Yeah, kind of, because it's still colorless, but it has its own basic land now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like there's a I believe I forget the name. It's a 4 mana 1 black 3 colorless creature. You can pay a life to make one of those colorless mana symbols to make a colorless mana. So that's free colorless mana if you want it.
Yeah. Anything else we need think about the set? Well, I mean, how do we think these cards in general are going to be in this? Like, is it going to be faster or is it going to be slower?
It's going to be confusing for newer players. That's why I felt like we had to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, I can say this.
For newer players, it's going to be way confusing.
Oh yeah, and also if I can throw this one just for like a draft format type deal, I don't think support necessarily is the highlight of what's going to make, you know, if you're going to a draft, you're not going to be thinking support's going to be the way. Right now, from at least from my limited knowledge, from what I've learned, is I think Surge is the best mechanic we have in the means for if you're going into like a limited format, into a draft type thing, you're going to, you know, Surge is going to be your best bet if you get a good pack with some Surges. Like that's the one I would say look for the most.
Well, it depends. And remember that Battle for Zendikar is still in the set. So you still have a lot of that. And Surge works really well with like allies and things like that. I think that's why they put it in there. You know what I mean? Because ally decks and decks that play a lot of tokens, who are coincidentally allies within these two sets. Most tokens are allies, right? Those kinds of cards put out a bunch of cards, or there's just a lot of them, and then you end up with a lot of cards to screw those counters with. You know, so you just end up with a wider battlefield, you know, as opposed to Surge, where it focuses more on instants and sorceries, right? Which is good in its own way, but support's good in its own way. You know what I mean? Like, it just goes wider on the battlefield.
Yeah. Also,
there's that dragon.
Yeah. Also, something new.
Yeah.
That we got the other half of the. I think this is one. Oh no, that's not it.
What are you talking about?
Of the
animated
Manland.
Yeah, we got the other three.
And I will show one.
Yeah, show all three.
There is this one. This is the white one?
This, I believe, is the best one out of the three. Combat-wise, I mean, it survives more in combat than the other two.
We get a 2/1 for double strike.
Yeah, you pay one white, one red, 2 generic. It becomes a 2/1 with double strike. That's not it. No. There's one that's green red and one that's blue red.
Oh shoot! Okay.
I mean green black and blue red. You're pulling the uncommon cycle.
Okay, so there's the red white one again.
Yeah, there's the red white one.
And the other one was what?
There's one green black one, which is called Hissing Quagmire. And then I don't remember the name of the blue red one. You're gonna have to find that one. This one you pay 3 for a 2/2 with Death Touch, which is really interesting. It's definitely average when it comes to manlands because there's a lot of
I like the
powerful manlands from the old set. Blue red. Where is it? Is that it?
And then we have this one.
Now this one you pay 4 to make a 1/4 with the ability you can pay 0, so 0 is the cost of the mana ability, and you can switch its power and toughness.
Which is, I think,
if you
really cool.
If you need it in combat, it can.
A really cool ability because you can make it a 4/1 when you're attacking, and then right before it's about to get killed by a blocker, you can switch it back and kill and survive the block. But you know, which is interesting.
Essentially,
but
there was an article on, I believe Channel Fireball might have been Magic Online, or and they pointed out that it's pretty much a 4/1 most of the time that doesn't die to 1/1s. That's what they explained it like. It's a 4/1 that doesn't die to 1/1s.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah,
it dies to everything else. Think about it.
Yeah,
it dies to everything else. But yeah, the 2/2 Death Touch for 3 mana, it's really good. You really don't want to attack into it. On the other hand, if you're attacking into it with the 2/1 double strike, you don't even care.
It's that first hit, boom.
The double strike is really relevant in that it hits. I mean, it hits for first strike and then regular damage.
Absolutely, that's.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to be honest. Looking at that, the Needle Spires was the top land of the 3 that we saw here in the new set.
Yeah, I think so.
I wanted to also talk to you guys. Like, what do you think is going to be your favorite card to see? Like that you're most looking forward
pack?
to.
Well, what do you mean? Like
like like if you were
like,
to choose one card,
are we talking about in a draft or out of the whole set completely, or what?
In a draft,
like in a first pick, first pack.
Yeah. Which card do you hope to
can
see
you
the
put 'em on
most?
Screen? Mine would be Reflector Mage.
Okay.
Which is a 2/3 for 3. When it enters the battlefield, it's essentially a more powerful version of Mana Wars effect. It returns a creature to its owner's hand, and that player can't cast spells with that name until your next turn. So it prevents them from casting that spell for a full turn, which has a huge effect on the board.
Yeah, mine. This guy seems really amazing.
Yeah, he's super good. He's the best in that cycle, other than the blue-green one. I have to say the blue-green. I forget what the name is, but it's 1 blue, 1 green, 1 generic. He has flash. He's a 2/4 a 2/4 for 3 with flash. When he enters the battlefield, target creature you control gets hexproof until the end of the turn.
Dang.
Right, so he protects a creature when he enters, and you can flash him in to do that. Yeah, Void Grafter.
I will bring him up on screen here.
Yeah, he's the second best in my opinion in that cycle. Anyways, there's obviously a lot of power in that cycle of cards.
What are you most looking forward to, Jeff?
Well, to be completely honest, I'm not very. This is the most I've done on the news.
Out of what you know.
Out of what I know.
What do you think?
Well, out of what I know so
Like,
far.
what card are you going to be most excited to see in a first pick, first pack?
Well, first pick, first pack. I'm honestly going to run with the. My mind kind of changed actually when I saw that Needle Spires. Like
Oh,
that,
yeah?
Like that kind of changed. That kind of just changed the whole way of how I was looking at the deck because. I'm running. I'd like to see an ally deck built up and seeing something like that to give you the double mana and then give you a double strike land. I think that became my favorite pick so far. Just
yeah, it's one of the best in the cycle. I mean, between
even going back to the old
Where's my phone?
Yeah.
Is this my phone?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the best one I think is either Lumbering Falls or the I'd say the Death Touch one in my opinion.
The green black.
Yeah, because hexproof is obviously important in like constructed and everything, and limited even too because removal's like prioritized a lot.
So if you can give yourself a private personal shield.
Yeah, and not to mention. Targeted removal is high priority on a lot of people's drafting, lists, because they ought to have a way to deal with some things, and there's no other better way than direct targeted removal.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Especially when there's not very many board sweepers inside the set alone. So
what about you, Shyler?
I kind of it's weird, but I like a land more than anything.
Is it Mirror Pool?
Yes, it is Mirror Pool. My favorite card ever right now. Mirror Pool, it's got a lot of text on it, but it enters tapped. It provides that colorless mana, that diamond shape that's similar to the Battle for Zendikar symbol. That's the easiest way I can think to relate to new players of how it looks. But the important thing about this is that you can pay 2 in a colorless mana and tap and sacrifice it to copy an instant or sorcery spell, and you can choose new targets, or you can pay 4 in a colorless and tap it and sack it to copy a target creature. And there's just going to be no place ever that this is going to be not good.
There's just so much versatility with this card. It can do everything.
I just don't imagine there's ever going to be a bad place, even in limited. You're not going to want to play this.
even so, like if they're about to destroy your biggest threat, you just you pay 5, tap this, sack it, and you don't actually lose it. You get a token that's a copy of it.
Yeah, something's just about to kill it, and then bam, I got.
And then I still have it.
Yeah.
I have my Kozilek still. Screw you.
Like, imagine if you did that on your
right.
On your Reflector Mage.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's a token and it's entering the battlefield, so it still has that effect. So you can effectively have 2 Reflector Mages out, right?
Wow, that's...
Yeah. Or you could even copy a spell. For instance, that draw card spell, to draw 2 cards and give creatures haste.
Exactly.
It's really more. It's. I really don't, guys. I really don't see a place where it's not going to be played. Like if you have this in your pack, it's first pick every time.
Yeah, you put
in
this
my opinion.
You throw this
I have to mention two other very first pickable cards. Grasp of Darkness, which is 2 black instant. Target creature gets -4/-4 until the end of the turn. That's definitely first pickable. That's on
back to like New Phyrexia.
Yeah,
Dismember
exactly.
That
This is Dismember level exactly.
And like I said earlier when we were talking, similar to BioBlight, for those who are newer players and just haven't been here forever, but remember Born of the Gods. Well, BioBlight did the same thing almost as this. Well, it did something better. It affected all the creatures with the same name, but it still gave it -3/-3 for 2. But this is giving something -4/-4, which will hit a wider variety of things.
Yes.
Like I believe you can kill a. Can you kill a Siege Rhino with this?
Mm-hmm. Siege Rhino, I think that's a 4/5 for 4.
I might be wrong about that.
I don't think you can kill a Siege Rhino with it.
You can get close.
Close.
Yeah, get really close.
If you've attacked in and faked them out and they've blocked your 1/1 with it,
yeah, it's even instant
then you
speed.
cast this and kill it the rest of the way.
Yeah,
exactly. And then there's one other card that I love. It's Cyclone Sire. And anyways, this is a 5 mana 3/4 flying. When it dies, you awaken 3 essentially. You put 3 1/1 counters on a land. If you do, that land becomes an elemental and it gets haste until the end of the turn. So 5 mana 3/4 flyer is already more than what you would want for like say your blue white flyers deck, which is one of the most popular draft decks in any given set. You want 3/4 for 5 is a great cost, and then when it dies, you get a 3/3 hasty creature.
Yeah,
which works well with a lot of the Awakened decks that are still going to be in draft decks. There's still going to be clutches and coastal discoveries and things in draft, and you're going to want to play those in the same deck.
Yeah, I like how they just took Awaken and added to it either entering or dying.
Yeah,
and it was awesome.
There's actually another card with an enter the battle. Do you want to put the other one up? Wall of Resurgence. Put a Wall of Resurgence. It's this also awakens, but it's an enter the battlefield effect.
So we have a dying and an enter.
Yeah, and those are the only 2 cards with Awaken in this set. So you're really going to want to pick those up if you're going with the Awaken kind of a strategy.
Yeah. Like,
especially if you're 3 taking for a 0/6 and a 3/3 haste,
and especially
really,
if you're already in those colors with like a Royal Spout or a Clutch of Currents or Ondu Rising or something similar to that has Awaken already.
Yeah. I mean, heck, back in the day of when we were playing on original Ravnica, one of the original, it was a Spirit, it was a 0/5 for wall, I forget the name, but it had Defender and Transmute, and it costed 2 blue and a colorless to memory serve, and that was 3 for a 0/5 with just Defender and Transmute. Right now you're going to 0/6 that's also going to be able to, right as he comes in, you can boost somebody else up, so right there, that kind of shows a top line. Like that's just beautiful. You don't get much more beautiful than that, especially for a top first pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What else we got to talk about?
I don't know. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about?
Well, I think we did. That was a really good, just overall,
that's it. It sounds like.
Sounds like a good draft. Good couple, good.
Overall, I think Tyler still has the same opinion of Kozilek as last time. He still doesn't like it.
Well, I'm not saying I don't like it. It's a very good creature, right? But it just doesn't feel enough like Kozilek.
Yeah.
Like what we're used to with
Yeah.
Field Rossi.
Yeah.
Also, one more thing I want to bring up is there are also expeditions in this set. And
there are 20 new expeditions.
And some of them are including some really expensive cards such as Wasteland, Strip Mine. That's not really super expensive.
Yeah.
But Mana Confluence. All of the filter lands are
all 10 filter lands.
Expeditions. Anything else?
Most of the spells. I mean, most of the lands that destroy other lands are there, right? Like Tectonic Edge and a couple of the other ones.
Did they include any other fetch lands, or did they?
No, it was filter lands, and the other 10 were other lands.
They were just pay
other
one life
ones.
search, or are they not bringing those ones back?
No, those ones weren't expeditions.
Okay.
But yeah, filter lands, Strip Mine, and Wasteland are...
Forbidden Orchard, was that one of them?
Yeah, Forbidden Orchard was
one.
one.
That came from Kamigawa, correct?
I think so, yes.
So...
Everyone's excited about that, Forbidden Orchard.
That's just a beautiful land
but,
in general.
Don't count on pulling an expedition.
Yeah, they're like one in what, 6 boxes?
Well, you have... I believe they would make the same numbers as they did before, whereas you have about the chance to pull one as you do a foil mythic rare.
Wow.
You have the same chance to pull an expedition as a foil mythic rare.
And then someone opens a pack and then they get a foil mythic and it could have been an expedition.
Basically, you're never going to get it. Don't count on it. But the person across from you in draft is going to pull it.
It happens more than anyone thinks. It does.
Yes. So don't get your hopes up, and you might actually be the one on the other side of the table that pulls it.
Yes.
Good luck out there.
But anyways, that is probably the end of this podcast for now. Stay tuned for next time, when hopefully the set will be out and we will be able to give you a more hands-on experience with the cards and everything, and tell you how
draft
things have gone.
experiences or something.
Yeah, our first draft experiences.
We should all draft it the same day.
Yeah,
I'm totally
talk about it.
All right. Well, like I said in the beginning, I'm Shy Guy 768. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter through that same name. And also follow my YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Shy Guy 768. There are tons of other video game and different videos on there, and this podcast as well. But Tyler,
and then there's me. My name on YouTube is TheEdge452, and it's my gamer tag on almost every game that I play. But anyways, I just barely started posting YouTube videos. I'm gonna start streaming on Twitch. I recently went 3-0 with a Bant deck in a BFC draft. You can watch that on my YouTube. But yeah, that's me.
And then your Twitter is Tyler A. Hill.
Well, I have links to my other accounts on my YouTube, so you can you can go to my YouTube.
To follow Tyler, go to his YouTube page, and he'll have his links provided there. And Jeff.
And for me, if you wish to follow, we do the Moran Watchtower. Anyone who's interested in a good time, safe environment, and just wants to talk Magic and role play, just be around good atmosphere, talk everything from anime to this and that. Anyone's more than welcome, and you can just find us on Facebook at the Moran Watchtower. And this is Morg speaking. For you, brothers. May the 5 stars shine brightly upon us.
Alright, guys. But until next time, peace.